Whew. All right. So since the last stream, all I've really done is create a new Ambience player object, which at the moment is still a duplicate of the sound effects file. So I need to go through and change this up a bit. So there's some differences here with the sound effects. We've got, there's like no limit to how many that can be played at once. With the ambience, we want to limit it to 3 so that we don't have users stacking up too many sounds. And I'm still not completely set on how I want the UI to go, but for now, I'm just going to go with, yeah, for now, I'm just going to go with setting up the player itself. But like I said, this is a complete duplicate of what we've already got in the sound effects player. So I guess it's time to get started. You can see that we can't, there's some things here we can't do yet. So we've got this error, cannot assign value of ambience player to type any missing performance to, okay. And the reason for this is because we don't have the extension down here. So I'm going to grab that and bring that across. And now copying and pasting code, usually it's not really something, you don't want to really be duplicating code, but I'm going to be changing this up quite a bit. We should get it compiling now. Oh no, okay, here we go. So no such file, store test certificate. Ah, that's because I think I deleted the one I created. Ooh, interesting. Kind of needed that. So let's create a new one. Let me just switch over to another view for a second. Because I don't know if this is going to show my Finder or anything like that. So let's just go for it. We've got this here, and then we need to go that is correct. I wonder if there's 2 in there now. Interesting. All right, I'll go back to the Xcode now, and then what I'm going to do is jump back to where we were before. Do a build, see if this works. Yes, successful, excellent. Unfortunately, I haven't set up my iPad simulator yet, so I'll do that real quick. We can see it here. Maybe I'll just pull the, what I'll do is I'll just pull the view across when I'm ready to show it, rather than switching between, because on here you don't get, you can't see where my cursor is, which is really frustrating. But if I switch to this and just have it over the top, you can see where my cursor is. So when I tap on things, and yeah, this works way better. Yep, excellent. Cool. All right, so now that we've got that working, I need to come through and clean this up. The idea that I've got here is that when you go in to edit one of these scenes, you've got this this row of buttons here, and so at the moment these are like hard-coded. And what I want to do is have it so that when you hit add, or you tap on the one that's already exists, you can come up here and you can choose a new one, and we can hear it playing there, right? These are just sound effects at the moment. I'll pull in proper ambient sounds in a second. And then up here, I'm going to have a save button that dismisses this, because I want it so that the user can tap on this, preview it, and then they can go save and close. Originally, I was thinking, oh, as soon as you tap on it, it should just select it and close it, but then you can't preview it. And then I was like, oh, well, then you have to have another button on there, like a play button. And it's much better to just go with the kind of behavior that people are used to, like when previewing ringtones. So that's sort of the format I've gone with for this. Looks like the stream's having some issues. What do we got? Poor connection. I don't think there's a whole lot I could do about that today. That's unfortunate. Let's just see how we go, see if it cleans itself up. We got stream health, poor. That's okay. Let's just keep going. Okay, so yeah, this is how it is. And tapping again stops it. And then, of course, dismissing stops the sound as well. And that's all running through the sound effects code that I've already got set up. So what I need to do is go back and change that so we've got it running through the ambient code. So we've got music, ambience, sound effects. So this sound effects player, at the moment I've got it set up as a singleton, but I'm going to change this as well. I'm going to place it through as a environment variable. So the original version of this app is quite old, probably like a year or two old. And back then I wasn't using environment objects all that much with SwiftUI. So one of the things we need to do this session is fix that up. So yeah, it seems like the stream is still a little bit, still getting like a poor stream status coming through, but I think it'll be okay. I'll just have to zoom in a little bit more. I think if the quality is bad, zooming in a little bit more should help. Okay, so no more distractions. Let's get into it. Need to fix up these, and this whole play stop business needs to be rewritten as well because it works well for the sound effects, but it's not going to work well for what I want to do with the ambience. Yeah, so I think first thing what I'll do is I'll actually make this environment object now, which means I need to open up, I think it's the root view. No, it's not. It is the scenes app. Let's move this out of the way. And then in here I can pass through, yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll do it at the root of the app. So we got this window group here. Now the main reason why I've had to go with using this kind of layout, rather than just like jumping straight into like the body. So we got the window group and all that. So the reason for this is because I am also using an external display. So there's some features in the app that enable that. And we can go through that a little bit later. But for the moment, yeah, I think what I need to do is, so this stuff here I'm going to replace because it's now been exposed on the stream, so that's fine. I can re-update all that sort of stuff later. So what we'll have here is a new state object, and this will be the, I'll write it out full sound effects player. Now I could shorten that up to SFX, but I think this makes more sense. Sound effects player, and then I will pass this through as an environment object. And then I'll do the same thing for ambient player. Excellent. And then I'll pass that through as well. And now I think we're going to get errors here because we don't have it conforming to observable objects. So let's just jump in and do that. And I think there might be an order that we need to set these up. Oops. Yeah, must appear first, so that's okay. Yep, and then what I'll do is go back to this here, jump into there, and do the same thing. Now there's no properties on here that I'm using at the moment. I haven't made these published or anything, but I'm thinking at some point that will be the case. So that we can keep an eye on what is currently playing or what items are selected, right? So because I've made this change, let's get rid of that canvas for a second. I need to go back and make changes to where I've got this shared code. So in order to like get access to this, we need to grab the environment object here. I believe this is the case. Yeah. So we've got the Ambiance player, right? And like I said before, I was reusing the sound effects player. So let's just go back to this. And then now that's fine. And we do the same up here. Excellent. Now the player is going to be different to what I've got selected. Like what, it doesn't handle any of the storage. So what the user selects is handled by, is stored in core data. And then when we actually play it, it goes through the player. So the player knows nothing about what's stored. All it can do is just play and stop music, right? And it keeps track of the players. And the excellent thing about having this as an environment variable is that I can access this from anywhere in the app, which means I can stop and play it at any time, which is pretty cool. I could have done that with the singleton, but people kind of shy away from that sort of stuff, and it's much more difficult to see in the code where, like, the fact that you're using a singleton, right? At least when you've got this environment object at the top of the file, you can say, okay, this is something that's used kind of globally, right? With a singleton, you don't really get that if you've just got like a single line hidden somewhere in like a file that's like 500 lines long. And the same goes for like the setup site here. We're passing this stuff through. First, if I haven't done any code on the app for a while, I can jump back into this and then I can just go, okay, so this is what I've got set up for the app, and then it makes it much easier for me to diagnose bugs and things like that. So we've got the ambient player done. So the next thing, we do need to do that for the sound effects player. And on this file, we've got the sound effects grid. And I think, yeah, we should be able to, I wonder why we've got this music API thing passed through. So that's interesting. I don't know if we've got the current, oh, we're using that for the currently selected encounter. Interesting. I feel like that this here should be separate from the music API. For now, I'm going to keep it like this because that's like a sidetrack. So let's just go with adding the environment object. Here we go. Oh, I see. Yeah, so we're using the music API current encounter, and then we're using the current encounter to understand the sound effects associated with it. So yeah, I think using this as the source of truth probably isn't correct, right? So we've got the Apple Music API, current track, current encounter play. Yeah, so when you hit play on a track, it updates the current encounter. So I think what we need to do is we need to pull this out of here somehow, because I don't like that being on the music API. I want this separate, but it still needs to have access to it. Now it's easy enough to do with views because we have those environment objects, but we don't really have those on these classes. This is one of those things where it's like, is it worth going through like a much larger rewrite? Like, it's not massive, but it's an annoyance. Having this here is annoying to me, but I can live with it. Yeah, so the reason why I want to remove it is because this is like the source of truth for a lot of parts of the app, and it's on the Apple Music API, which it shouldn't be, right? Like the currently selected encounters should be separate. It should be at like the top level of the app. And so because like when you hit play here, that sets this currently selected encounter, and this is how we switch between like the views here. So we've got, you hit play here, you've got a different view over this side, right? You switch between them, and that's triggered by the change here on the current encounter, and this should be separate. So I'll need to figure out a way to pass this through to this class in a different way. And we've already got, like, you know, it's got the initialization set up and stuff. This is set up as a global object, like environment variable. So we really need to detach the current encounter from this. But I think I'll tackle that a little bit later. If I figure out that it's causing me issues, I'll go in and change it. But I think for now I can live with it as is. And yeah, at the moment the music's not playing because it won't play in the simulator. Okay, so for now I'm just going to double check and make sure everything works, because I did change the source class for this. We can hear crickets and a fireplace. You might be able to hear it through the microphone. I can't set up audio from the desktop through OBS through the stream because the Mac doesn't allow that. You have to use like a separate software to make that happen. Or I have to reroute the output to the input on the Mac. So I'm not going that far, because then I won't be able to hear it. And this is just, the machinery thing is just a sound effect. But at that moment, I've got it set up so that you can preview multiple ambient sounds at the same time, because the idea is that you'll be able to have at least 3 running at once. And so last time on the stream, I was thinking, oh yeah, we got all these separate buttons, right? So I can set, instead of rainforest sounds, I can set like crickets, and then I can add a third one. And the third, that's the maximum. But the problem is, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if they're all going to be together anyway. So I figured maybe it's just best to have one single button, and then at the top show maybe a summary of what ones have been selected. And then, because this is going to be quite a large list, I'm going to put search and stuff in here. And then we're going to have like multiple ticks, right? So I can't decide between having a single selection for each of these separately, or have them all attached to the one screen. And I feel like having them attached to the one screen makes more sense to me, because you're going to be previewing them together anyway. So yeah, I think that'll be the goal. Now, I can already tell that there's something wrong here. The sounds are still playing. So if I dismiss this, oh, okay, there was a bug there. All right, so I wasn't doing it before. Interesting. Yeah, if I dismiss, then reopen, the sound continues to play if I'm quick enough with it. And now it hasn't stopped. So there's a bug there I need to fix. You probably can't hear what I'm talking about, but it's I need to sort that out. Yeah, and the tapping, it stops it. That's fine. But the good thing is it's working. So the environment variables that are set up are great. Generally, using environment variables can be a bit hit and miss, because the views can lose access to them. And that generally happens through, I remember in the past it was to do with modals. Modals wouldn't get the environment, and then I think now even navigation links don't get them passed through. Like, you have to manually resend them on again. But at the moment I've got this, just the one place here where these are set up, and it seems to be going all the way down through to the modals and stuff that I've got that you just saw. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I want to get rid of these warnings, but that's something for later. let's go into the sound effects player, and I think what we can do is remove this stop function now because we were using that for the ambience. If I go back to the ambience player, so we need the stop function. Play stop, this will toggle, and that makes sense when you're tapping on a sound effect and you want it to stop. In the production version, sound effects will stack, they will not stop. So at the moment we've got like a gate sound. If you tap it again, it'll stop. But in future, I want it so that if you tap it again, it just starts it again. So you can like stack up sounds. You can just like span the button. Almost like that. Yeah, cool. Okay, so and then we need to make pause work. Yeah, so there's still so much for me to do on this. And then, like, you know, they had a button squished up over the side there. Oh yeah, so last time on the stream, this is what we fixed up, right? So this wasn't working at all, the purchase. So if you want to add a new sound effect to your scene or the global section, which is at the top here, well, you got to pay, right? So here's this subscription page that we finished off last time. And if we go continue, for testing purposes only, you will not be charged for confirming with this purchase. You probably can't see this text, it's all small. I can't really make it much larger. And you hit subscribe, you're all set. And on success, this screen should dismiss, but it's not. So that's something I can easily fix right now. Subscription picker view. And then when we get down to handle purchase error, so I've got some to-dos here. Present success message telling users that we hope it's correct. Yeah, so this success message probably isn't needed because the RevenuCat library I'm using just popped up that other one instead. I might be able to customize that. I haven't looked into the docs too much about it, but I think right here what we need to do is call a dismiss. And I do have a presented binding here, so I can just use that directly, right? So what do we got? Purchase package, selected subscription, transaction, customer info, error, success. So if success and error equals nil, presented equals false. So this is supposed to close the screen. And I think the reason why it's not is because it's getting interrupted by that, the alert. So what can we do to fix that? I might need to look up the documentation. Yeah, interesting. I think I have to wait about 5 minutes before we can try this again. So I've got the timeout on this. Let me try again. Let's see what happens if I put a breakpoint here. It's already, yeah, so it jumps here. And I think the error is not nil because we've got currently subscribed to this. So I wonder if I hit OK, we get here. And let's just see if there's an error object. It takes a while sometimes. Here we go. Error. The error is nil. Why is success false? Success must be false because if there's no error, I'm guessing what they're trying to do here is yeah, what I'm going to assume that the error is nil because there's no actual error, and then success would be false because no purchase was actually made at this point, right? Because it's already the purchase already exists. That's my guess. And I think what I want to have happen, right? I wanted to hit this line, which it probably did before, and then and then close this screen, but it's not closing the screen because I think there's an alert that's popping up that's interrupting it. And so what I really want to do is not this alert, but another one pops up. I want it so that when you hit OK, the screen dismisses, but I don't think I'm getting the action back for that, which is kind of frustrating. Yeah, what can I do? Because it seems like this isn't... I'll wait the 5 minutes and then we'll wait and see. We'll try this again and I'll put some breakpoints in. We need to double check that this line isn't getting hit, right? So what I'll do is, so if we hit cancel now, and now we've got access to everything, right? Because we just made the purchase, but a couple of minutes from now, that should revert. And then anyway, so what I can do now is add these sound effects to the global board, which sits at the top here, right? And then if I have a scene playing, so this is play at the moment. I need to change it so that if I can select a row, right? Hitting play and then being able to edit the sound effects for it with the music playing in the background is kind of probably not ideal. So you want it so you can select it without disrupting the music that's already playing, or actually starting the music, especially if you're like setting up for a game night, right? So anyway, you open up this and then you can just go add to scene. And you can see just slightly behind it, new ones getting added. So I can just do this here, just adding. And you see these icons here, update to, so you can see that this is part of the currently selected scene. And then these are the global ones. If I add them to global as well, you get 2 icons there. And this is kind of the best approach that I could come up with. I may rework it, probably definitely rework it in the future. But yeah, if you change between different scenes, you get your sound effects update, which is pretty cool. And then your global ones stay up here. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear these. Very quiet. Let's see if I turn the volume up on that. That's better. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So, so the next step is definitely getting this ambient music, this ambient sound set up. So I'm going to change this back to, I'm going to just set it up as one button. I think what I'll do is, because this text is editable, I might push it to the left and then put the button over here instead. Although this space here, what do I do? I don't like... I need to come up with a UI that just like explains what is there, what's playing. And I think I need to add it here too. So you hit play, you probably want to be able to see which items. Again, maybe this is the wrong place for it anyway. Maybe it should be over here. Because the sound effects and the ambience are more tightly related to each other than the music. So I think I'm going to do that. Let's see if it's been long enough to try out the... No, I think we might need to rerun it in order for the in-app purchases to reset. Oh, yeah. So what we need to do here is change this to... Need to add environment object, sound effects player. So we remove this. This is no longer a singleton. Excellent. And so we'll jump into here, and then we will... Sound still work? No, we're still waiting for the reset of the purchase in-app purchases, but that's okay. Okay, so I want to go back to the music. Where are we at? We've got... Ambience picker view. So this is, we need to know where this is being called from because I want to move that. Yeah, the scene header view. Yeah, I don't like having this in here. I think I'm going to remove it and put it elsewhere. So I'm going to get rid of all this. Sad that we have to get rid of everything we've just... but that cleans that up a fair bit. Yeah, to me it doesn't make sense that we have it in the scene. Yeah, all right. I think I've got... the scene header view, and then, so if we go back to the sim, yeah, so what I wanted to do was throw it in here somewhere. So we need to put it up the top of this. So if we go to scenes app, I want to open the review. This is what we need. Campaign list view, compact. Either's fine. View, nope. In here. Then with the detail view, we need... got the campaigns, great. Campaign detail view, yeah, this is the one. And then we've got our scene list, campaign header view, and then we've got the play stats. And then here we've got, what have we got set up? Scene list. Is this the vertical VStack H? We got H stack. This is on the left side. And then on the right side, we need... where did I put my sound effects view? Soundboard, where is that? Let's have a look. Sound effects? No. Campaign. Oh, must be in here. Campaign detail view, compact campaign detail view, scene list. Oh gosh, I don't know where it's gone now. Campaign header view. So that is this top section. And then we've got the scene list, which is underneath. I think... yeah, we need to go... full screen cover, campaign detail view. This is it. This is supposed to be it. Where is... what have I done here? Play status panel. Yeah, okay. That's misleading. I've named that incorrectly, haven't I? So, yeah, this play status. Yeah, I'll have to fix this. But you can see I've got two of these fetch requests. So, and the reason for that is because one of them is for the top section for the global sounds, and then the other one is for the selected scene, the scene sounds. Okay, so we're in the right place. So what I need to do is go and find where I've dropped. So if let encounter, so this is it here. And we've got the encounter name. And in this top section, this is where we need to put the current ambient sounds that are associated with this. So in order to do that, I think I just need to double check and make sure that I've got the model set up correctly, right? So over here, I've got these ambient and we have an encounter selected. Yeah, excellent. So what I can do is show, I should be able to do this. I should be able to go, I think this will be a H stack for now. And then I want to go for each. And then in there, I want to go encounter ambient loops. Yes. And this won't work because I think, yeah. And we can't have that here because we've got this encounters sound effects check up here. So this isn't going to work. So what I need to do is pull that out. So if let encounter, and of course I need to change this because I can't have it on the Apple Music API. This needs to be elsewhere. And I'm starting to run into issues where it's going to be a problem being where it is because the current encounter, the selected encounter is going to be different to the one that's actually playing. So, and at the moment I've got them both treated as the same. So I need to fix that. So we've got the header, which will be, yeah. So I need to set up the header this way. Right. So the header is always going to be there as long as an encounter is selected. I'm going to get rid of that for now. And then I'll do this, this check, right? So under here, we've got our grid of sound effects. So if encounter sound effects is empty, what we want to do is put, well, I'll put this text here for now, but what I would love to do, place and add SFX button, right? Because I think the UI will look much nicer than if it was just some boring text. And then here we can grab our lazy grid. And then for each of the sound effects, and what I might end up doing is just combining these two. So I might, so this will be empty, right? If there's nothing in there, it'll be empty and it'll just show nothing. No tiles will be drawn at all. And what I can do is at the very end of this, I can place add sound effects button. And then so when it is populated, we can have a button still show when the grid is full here or whenever it's empty. So I'm going to go with moving this. Where was this? This was on the V stack, and I think, yeah, so there it is there. Let's go with that. Let's delete all this. And now this header will appear, so this header here will appear no matter what. Whether there's sound effects in there or not. And the reason for that is because there might be ambient set up. And I want to put a text message here and stuff. And I think that's sort of important to let the user know why this screen is empty. Just having an edit button just doesn't make sense. So I want to fix that up. That also means that I can put a check around the ambient information. And because this is a read only, I think what I'm going to do is, because it's not going to be edited. Is it going to be edited? Edited will be elsewhere, right? So sorted by, let's just go with this. I think I can get away with calling it a loop. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get away with that. So let's see if I can. because it's an optional. Oh, all right. So in order to deal with this, I just need to jump back to some other code that I've got and steal what I've got going on from there. So where we got? I think this is on the campaigns list view. No, I've got it set up correctly there too. Where have I got? This is incorrect. Where's this coming from? This is the wrong one. So that could be confusing. So let's just undo a bunch of this for a second. No, that's correct. So yeah, I think what I want to do is add another I think it makes sense. Encounters sound effects. Category ascending true. Yeah. This request changes. Ah, got it. So on change of the current encounter, we do a search. That makes sense. So let's do the same thing. Getting notifications. Yeah, so let's do the same thing. Fetch request, and this is the ambient loop, because they will all be looped, which is different to the sound effects. And then we've got ambient loop, entity, sort descriptors. I don't think... What do we got on this thing? Let's go with category. Ooh, okay. We don't need to... Do we need to sort by... No, because we're only displaying, so we only need to sort by the name, really. Or nothing. I don't think it matters. So let's just go with nothing for that. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, cool. So, what's complaining now? Yeah, that makes sense. So, ambient loops. Excellent. And then I think in here, at the moment, we can just get away with just displaying the text, right? So, oh, come on. There it is. Ah, yeah. Okay, so if I go over to, yeah, so on the encounter, we have removed the optionality of the name. And so I think the best thing to do is the same with, what do we got? Yeah, we got to do the same with the ambient loops. Where are they? And I think we've even done the same with the sound effects here. So yeah, none of these are optional, which is great. Let's just go back to the ambient loop. Just double check. Category, not optional. File name, excellent. Icon and name. Encounter can be optional. Yep. Okay, now to make this work, I'm going to have to do something similar to what I did with the sound effects. So on the sound effects, this should still work. Yeah, we can do the same thing. So if I go to our resources, we've got sound effects up here, and we've got ambience. I've got one track, which is the fireplace with night time. So that's got like crickets and stuff. So what I need to do is create a new group, and we'll call it sounds as well as what we've got in the sound effects. And then what I need to do is create a new file, a new JSON file, right? What I'll need to do, I'll just switch this over to the sim just in case there's some desktop Finder stuff in there. So create a new JSON file. It'll be a text file, right? And we'll just go empty. And this is called Ambiance. And it needs to go in gosh. Let me jump back to Xcode. Cool. And I don't know why it's gone XML. And we're going to keep the same kind of layout as the sound effects. So let's jump down here. Let's delete everything except for the first one. And this is how it's going to work, right? So I'm just going to grab this track, and this will be our first one, and that's our file name. The extension is MP3. The icon, I think we will have icons. And I'm going to keep this as fireplace. Or what about outdoor? I need to keep some. I want to keep some good descriptive names, though I don't want it to be just like fireplace with night ambience. That's kind of lame. It should be something like outdoor campfire night. And then I think keywords keywords are pretty important because this will help with search. Not everyone's just going to search for campfire or night. So we do need to possibly go with, so we've already got campfire, we've already got night. We could have crickets. We could have outdoor. I think maybe camp on its own would make sense. Rest. You know what? I think that's good for now. And the category would be, so the main thing with categories. Oh, my dog's barking. The main thing with categories, I'm still not sure with how I want to address this. So I want the ambient sounds to be sectioned by some sort of category, right? Like that could be outdoors, indoors. That could be maybe a mood. Maybe the category could be the mood of the track. I don't know. I'm tempted to just remove it altogether because it's not like you can sort the music by mood, especially on Apple Music, right? You would be looking for track names and stuff. For this, ambience could be, it's almost like they could be part of multiple categories. And I could see the selection screen getting very large. might do away with categories. I remember when I was adding it, I was thinking, oh, we'll see how that goes. But now I can't really think of ways that would work. Yeah, let's get rid of that. And the downside of doing this is it's going to upset the whole core data thing. But look, I'm just going to have to go with it. I think it's important to remove it. Yeah, successful build, but let's just wait and see, because as soon as we pop open the sim, we might get a crash because we've changed the model. Oh no, seems to be okay. That's good. Excellent. So if I hit play here, we still haven't got our ambient stuff set up. So what I want to do is let's see if we can. Yeah, so I've removed the buttons from here and we're going to add them over here. So let's do that. So let me open up. So we've got one track so far, and it's going to be in the scene header view. No, this is incorrect. This is the wrong file. Ambience picker view we've got created. Get rid of that. Ambience player we can get rid of. Sound effects player we can get rid of. Play status panel. This is where we're at. Yeah, excellent. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is where the selected ambient sounds will show, but because we haven't got a way to choose them yet, we need to do that. I think what we can do is reuse kind of that section in the header. So we could go like, if ambient loops is empty, we can show our button. Otherwise, we show which ones have been selected, right? And it's something we need to do before I forget real quick is actually do the search when this current encounter changes. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Encounter. And yeah, I like I said before, I want to not have this attached to the music API. This needs to be separate, because the current encounter will get set when someone hits the play button, right? And I want to change it so that you could hit play on this, the music will play, and then you can select this like a separate one and then make edits to it while the first one's playing. It'd be super inconvenient if you have to like hit play here in order for the content over here to update, and then you've got music playing that you don't want to play while you're messing around with sound effects, right? So yeah, the idea is so you can select one of these rows. So let's go back. Let's go with, up here we need the button. And I'm just going with ambience for now, just the text on the button. And then what I want to do is toggle the ambient sheet, right? So we can do another state. Show ambience picker. Excellent. And then we can just toggle that. And then we need to present that, right? So sheet. And what do we got here? Present global effects picker. What have we got? That's another state. Yeah, so let's put these two together. And let's change this to present. To keep them in line. And the content we've got, let's clean this up. Cool. Ambience. Pick a view. And I don't think... Yeah, I still need to set some sounds. So the Ambience picker view will need to handle its own sounds, like when the screen loads. But at the moment, I'm just throwing in... Yeah, I'm just going to have to do it here. For now. And lightning doesn't matter. That's just an icon that I know exists. And the title will be fireplace, and the file name, oh gosh, the file name is this thing here. Where is it? This is the file name we're going with. Can we build that? Excellent. Let's see if this will run. Yeah, so now we've got the button over this side. If I tap this, we've got our picker. If I tap on it, we can hear the sounds, which is pretty cool. Tap it again, it stops. Stay selected, that's okay. For now. So I need to set up some rules now as well, because I want it so that you can only choose 3 playing at once. Maybe I just shouldn't put that restriction on it. Maybe you can layer up as much as you like. Anyway, tapping should play and then tapping should stop it. And it should remove that check mark. But what we haven't got set up yet is when you tap it, it adds it to the encounter. So that's the next step, right? So we definitely need to keep track of the currently selected encounter. So we've come up to that point now where I'm going to have to go back and make some of these changes that I was kind of avoiding, because it's so tightly coupled. This here, current encounter is so tightly coupled to the Apple Music API that I need to. Oh, it's frustrating. If anything, it was going to be made a singleton. I feel like the current encounter should be. I'm going to have to make another file to handle it, I think. But now I need to work out how the Apple Music API is going to understand when something's changed. I might need to do notifications. Because at the moment, you see we got the... Oh, where is it? Let's jump back here, Apple Music API. Come on, let's go. This here. Yeah, so it's on it's a publish. So when it changes, the app detects when that happens. This should be changed to is playing. Current preview. That's the song that's being previewed, I believe. Current encounter. This is what needs to change. It needs to be moved to a separate class. But then how do I get it back into this in a nice clean way? Because this doesn't have access to environment variables. I think for now, I'll save that for next time. And I'm going to do this off stream, I think, because I need to concentrate. There's a little bit more involved for that. Yeah, because this app is so complex now, it's not something that's going to be easy for me to explain on stream. I think maybe in future I might be better off streaming more simple apps, like from the start to the finish, you know, and build an app in 4 hours or something. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. So for now, that's it for me. I'm gonna go back and make these changes, and I might be back a little bit later. if I'm not, I'll probably be back later playing some games or something. So for the moment, I just want to get this work done and out of the way without any distractions.